Hello everyone, it's Jo here from my craft room and I can't believe it's February already. If you saw my channel last month rather, you'll know that I'm taking part in Lorry at Piles of Paragraphs hashtag grungy tag challenge 2026. You want the details for that, please check her channel out. I'll link it down below in the description box. And this month's prompt is folded. This is all the prompts here. But yeah, the prompt for February is folded. So I actually looked at a video last month and it sort of gave me an idea. And it was from Sara-lee Armstrong. I think that's her name. She was creating some interactive elements for a journal page in the journal that she's creating, and I thought I could adapt it onto a tag, and that's what I've done. So basically, there's 3 folded elements in it. There's like a centre band there that keeps these flaps in place. That goes down the middle there, and then we've got, if you can see it all. Then we've got 2 flaps out there that holds this tag in place, and there's a little pocket down there. So I thought that was quite a nice interactive element to put into your journal. I've just used Tim Holtz cardstock there, and I'll probably be using that again for the second one that I'm going to make. At the back you could always add another piece of cardstock to sort of leave it as a tag to stick into a pocket, or you could stick it onto a journal page. In fact, let me give a sort of example. This is a journal that I'm in the middle of creating, sort of like a botanical theme. But yeah, you could stick that straight onto a page, and then you've got your interactive elements like that. Or you could clip it onto a page as well. Obviously you'd have to back it at that point, and as well if you're putting it into a pocket. So it looks, it looks quite nice in a journal, doesn't it? There we go. So I'm going to try and recreate that again. Wish me luck. I'll give you a flip through of this once I've completed it. Right, so first of all, I've got some, like I say, some more Tim Holtz papers here. These are ones I've been hoarding for years and years. And I've sort of made a pact to myself this year to start using some of the stuff that I've got in my craft room rather than hoarding it, because it's just silly. It just keeps piling up and piling up. So this year I am going to be using stuff. So the tag sizes that I'm using for this challenge are 7 inches by 3 3/4. So I shall cut that down. So I want 3 3/4. Not sure you can see the full length of my cutting there, unfortunately. But I think it's self-evident, self-explanatory. Right, that's 3 3/4. And by 7. Which leaves me a lot of foliage there, which is what I want. Yeah. Okay, I think we'll do all the cutting now, just so we've got all the bits together. I just need to think about this a bit. So my centre band, which is this bit here, that measures 6 3/4 by 2. The 3/4 bit is the bit that folds over. So yeah, so we'll cut that bit out next, I think. So I think I'll go for these numbers here. So I want 2 inches. for the side flaps, we need 3 inches. That's these bits here. So we want 3 inches by 3 3/4. There'll be 2 1/4 inch folded and 3/4 of an inch. Is that right? Yeah, 3/4 of an inch folded over. Okay, so yeah. So we want 3 inches. So what does this measure here? Let me just look. Oh. So that, yeah, I've got 6 inches there, so that's good. So I'll use that bit down there. I'll cut this way first so we're not wasting too much paper. So 3 3/4. Is that the right way around? Let me just think about this a minute. So you want 3 3/4 that way. Yeah. So right, 3 3/4. And then we want 3 and 3. Okay, and we want one more piece for the pocket, which is this bit here, and that measures 1.5 inches by obviously the width of the tag, which is 3 3/4 inches. And I think I'll use this bit. Let's have a bit of a contrast here. So I think we might go for the darker bit, I think. So we want 1.5. I'll just check that's, yep, 1.5. Across there, because we cut that tag from that piece. That's the correct width. Okay, that's all our cutting done. Right, next step. Let's do some folding. Oh, I need to cut that bit down, hang on. So this side flap, no, not side flap, centre band, we want at 6 3/4. Okay. So next step, let's do some scoring. So this is the centre flap, and there's this bit here, and we'll score that at 3/4 of an inch. And we want these ones, which are the side flaps, these ones here. Again, we'll score at 3/4 of an inch. And let's see what side I've done there. So this will be this side. That's a shame. But anyway. Oh well. Yeah. All right. So that's that one. So So that's all the scoring we need to do. Right, what I'm going to do now is corner around some of the edges. So that's just one of the side flaps there. I'm going to corner around there. I'm not sure if I did that. Yes, I did. I did do on that. Yeah. And I want it on the pocket. Just at the bottom. And at the bottom of the tag. And at the bottom of the centre flap. And we'll do a bit of inking. So people, I hope you've had a good January. It seems to have gone, well, I don't know, it seems to have dragged in some sense, because January always does seem to, after all the festivities and celebrations and things. But in another sense, it seems to have flown by. I can't believe we're in February already. I think it's probably a thing of getting older. Time seems to just speed by. And before we know it, we'll be, you know, in spring and Easter and, oh, mind you, I can't wait. It's been absolutely freezing. I've had a bit of stormy weather, just sort of winds and rain. It's when I say stormy weather for Britain. It has been very wild here at the seaside. Although I do love looking at the sea when it's really rough. Very bracing. So yeah, I hope you've all had a decent January. I know there's been lots of weather-related issues across the planet. Extreme heat at the southern hemisphere, and the back of that one, yeah. Let's get this tag. And lots of snow in North America. And Canada. But yeah, there's been lots going on the planet, which we shan't go into here. But I just hope you're all safe and, you know, going about your daily business in a good fashion. Right, I feel like I haven't done something here. Yeah, I need another little tag to go inside, so I'll just get that ready. While we're here, before we get it all together, and then we can just crack on. Right, the tag inside is 6 inches by, I think it's 3 1/8. I'll just go on. That's 3 1/8. Yeah. Just so that it fits nicely into the pocket. I think we'll go with the foliage again. And 6 inches. A bit of writing. What does that give me? Yeah, that'll be nice. I'll do that. So we'll get that into a tag shape. And around the corners. So yeah, you can use any cardstock Any papers that you've made yourself. Obviously it has to be fairly sturdy if it's a tag. But yeah, I just happen to be, like I say, creating a sort of botanical themed journal at the moment. So these will go in nicely. Right, we can start constructing it now. Now, I think what I'm going to do first is stick my little pocket on. So I'll get that out. And I'm not going to do a thumb hole for this one because this is going to slip in. I'll just show you. That's going to sort of slip in into that pocket, and I think the thumb hole might give it too much space. So yeah, I'm going to leave it without. I'm just going to make sure it's well inked so that you can tell it's a pocket. Just to give it that contrast from that tag, which is a fairly dark pocket anyway. So I'm going to stick that on. You can slowly see it starting to come together now. So yeah, if you haven't seen what I created in January, just click on my home page and you'll find the video there, along with other flip throughs of journals that I've created. But yeah, this is only my second sort of create with me video, so I'm still I'm still learning. Let's trim that a little bit. There we are, so that's the front pocket. And I think we'll stick the side flaps on now. So that one's for that side. And this one is this side. I think I want it to be about there. So I'll just get those stuck down. But yeah, I've just recently subscribed to Sara-lee Armstrong, and honestly I'm really inspired by some of her creations. Like I say, I will link her channel down below, and I'll link the video where I saw a similar idea to, well, this idea. I think it's great when you can find a new channel that you haven't seen before, and you know, there's lots of channels on YouTube, lots of creators. There's so much inspiration out there. I mean, you'd be a fool not to check it all out. So yeah, when you stick those on, just make sure it is clear of that pocket so that this can slip in. Yeah, because that helps to keep these flaps down. So it needs to get into that pocket. Okay. Right, let's get my nose stuck on. I'll just get this one on now. Let's get this centered. There we are. So now that tag will go inside, just in there, and leave it like that, I think. Yeah. What we need to do is a little bit of decoration. So I've got some bits here. Some cloth. I've got some, this is fabric washi tape, which I'm going to add to the folds here, just some extra security, just to make sure that they're really stuck down. And also sometimes, you know, with use, the sides can wear away, and the fabric just helps to keep it from tearing off. But you can use any fabric, you know, and glue it on, washi tape, whatever. I just happen to have some fabric washi, so I'm going to use this. So let's measure these out. So if you're watching this channel and you have a channel yourself, put a link to it in the description, you know, in my comments down below, so that I can check you out. Because I'm sure there's loads of videos that I haven't, you know, I haven't seen. Lots of creators that I don't know about. So please feel free to do that. Right. That's those bits, and I'll do it again on the top as well. There we are. Yeah, this is Tim Holtz's fabric tape, by the way, in case you're wanting to know. But like I say, you can use any fabric and just glue it on. It doesn't have to be fabric washi. See if I can get it off. But it's very sticky as this tape. It's really good for this. Try not to stretch it so I can get it on straight. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Like I say, it just gives the fold a bit more heft and security. Okay, let's do the sides. I've gone quiet again. Must get used to talking. Which way is the right way here? All right, that's it. get it straight. Oh, probably not a bit too quick there. Just make sure it's right on the fold. There we are. Okay, just get rid of that lot. I'm just going to ink those a little bit as well, just to add to the grunge. I'm not going to ink around the back because my tags are going to be stuck to a journal page. Right, I've got some, what do you call it, calico fabric here. It's just a thick cotton. Let's see, I've got some bits here I want to use. So let's get these out and let's see what we're at. Okay, I think I'm going to put this label rather. This label is from Love Junk Journals, as is this little one here, which I'm going to be sticking in the middle. So I'll just get a bit of a measurement. Just cut a bit. I like the torn look. But yeah, the weather's been really, really cold lately. It's been, so been a lot of indoors time, a lot of crafting. Oh, that was tough. I'll just put that in the pocket just so we know where we want to put it. So I think I want to grunge that fabric up a little bit, so I'll just get a bit of ink on it, just to give it a bit more of an aged look. More fraying. So I think we want that in the centre there. And that label's going to go on top like that. I'll just ink this little one. Have I inked that? I think so. Yeah, I have. Right. So what does everybody get up to in January, apart from hibernating? Would love to know. So there's the label on there. Get my tweezers for this one. But yeah, I think my subconscious is telling me that I'm waiting for spring with creating a botanical journal. Put there on the centre, and I think I'll stick that on there. And what I like to do with fabric embellishments is just glue where you've stuck the paper on, so that none of the glue is on the actual, you know, on the seam bit of fabric, and that just helps to, because the glue will inevitably seep through. It just makes it look a bit naff, in my opinion. So I just glue where the actual label is. I think it's nice having a bit of fluffy fabric as well. Gives it a bit of texture. And that's fairly centered. Yeah, and I think I've got this other label, which again is from Love Junk Journals. Tracy has many label kits, all fantastic. I'm just checking that like, yeah, I'm going to stick that on top of there, and I'm going to put some brads in there as well. And I think I'm going to back it, I think I'm going to put another frame of this paper around it. So let's just ink this up a little bit in case any white bits show. Don't think they will, but just in case. Just age it up a bit. There we are. So I'll just get this one torn. Got some nice rough edges. This is just a tear ruler. It's got some serrated edges. I got this, I think it was on Amazon many years ago. I think there's a few different varieties out there. I'm not sure if this one's still available, but if you just put in tear ruler in the description box, I'm sure there'll be some other designs there, or designers or whatever. And there we are. I'll just ink that little bit. So just see how this fits on here. I think I'm going to glue this on to the back of here first. Yeah, so I think what I'll do is just put some glue around the edges there, just so it can grab hold of the label. And I can put the label behind. Like that. I'll centre it a bit. There we are. Then I'm going to stick that onto the grid paper. There we go. That's going to just fit on there nicely, I think. Yeah. So I'm just going to put some brads in those holes there. So I'll just get my pokey tool. Let's get a little hole. And these are just little faux metal brads. I mean faux brass, well, coloured brads, brass coloured metal brads. Okay. Not easy when you've got short nails. Right, so there we go. And what I like to do is just get my scissors and just press down on them so that they're flat, just like that. That makes them nice and tight. And I'm just going to glue that onto there now. Alright. Right over in the middle there. We're nearly there. And I've got this little 2 here, which I thought, because I've got one on that one, so I thought I could put 2 on this one. Let's get my tweezers again. So we're nearly there, folks. And believe it or not, I've done it in one take. It's just as well, because I haven't learnt any editing skills or anything. So I think that's generally how I'm going to roll. There we are. And there we have it. Our grungy tag for February. Now I could sew round it as well, but that's something you'd probably have to think of in the beginning. I mean, you could open it up and just sew round. You know, once it's made, you could sew round this bit here, being careful not to use up too much real estate of your pocket. Or before you actually put it all together, you just sew round all the individual pieces before you stick them on. So get the tag in there. The tag can be further decorated, of course. But that's basically the tag. So that's the one I made earlier, and this is the other one. Now I'm going to put some more ink around it because I don't think it's grungy enough. So I'm going to get my scorched timber. I'll just go around all the edges. And there we are. So I hope that was fairly, I hope it was explained okay for you. I enjoyed making that, and they're going to go nicely in my botanical journal. So guys, like I say, any questions, please just do not hesitate to put a comment in the description. It does help grow the channel as well. So feel free. So March, what's March gonna be? 3 of something. So I'll have to get my head into gear for that one. But for February, this is my grungy tag. So until March, happy creating, and I'll meet you there. Okay, everybody. Bye for now.